Hello everyone, I'm the Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for week 5 of the NFL season. So predict all of these games set to take place in week number 5. We're coming off of a week that was slightly disappointing, 10-5, and then we had the tie between the Packers and the Cowboys. I'm calling that 10-5-1. I know there's some people that would say, well, you didn't predict the tie, so it should be 10-6. I guess if you want to consider me 10-6 because I didn't predict the tie, fine. I'm going to call myself 10-5-1, though. And either way, we will hope to do a bit better this week. And let's get started with the Texans and the Ravens. Battle between a couple of 1 and 3 teams with extremely disappointing facets of the ball, I guess we could say. Houston has been very disappointing on offense. They were able to get some points finally in the win over the Titans, but it's the Titans. Meanwhile, the Ravens, an incredibly disappointing defense for Baltimore. And it's an incredibly injured Raven defense. And now they have to worry about the health of Lamar Jackson. In the end, I still believe that Lamar will play in this game on Sunday. Granted, he did miss practice today with his injury, but I do think he'll be healthy enough to play in this game for Baltimore, and I think Lamar does just enough to get Baltimore the win. Raiders and Colts will go at it in Indy. The Colts, who lost for the first time last weekend, came a bit closer to beating the Rams than I think most people thought they were going to. Here they take on a Raiders team that defensively I think is a weaker team than the Rams were. I do think the Colts get the bounce back victory here at home over the Raiders, as Indy goes to 4-1. Sunday Night Football sees the Patriots head up to take on the Buffalo Bills. So, this is a real measuring stick for where New England is right now. I just don't think that they're quite on the Bills level yet. I think this might be a place where New England comes back to earth a little after their blowout win over the Panthers last week. I think this is a game where Buffalo really shows their dominance in the East. I like Buffalo here. And then you have the Chiefs and the Jaguars. It's my Kansas City Chiefs, who got their offense going last week against the Baltimore Ravens. What do you know? Adding one of the team's best receivers to an offense makes the offense look as good as it's ever been. But yeah, they take on a Jacksonville team that's off to a surprising 3-1 start. That being said, I do think that Jacksonville will start to decline as the season goes along. And I don't know if I'd necessarily say that decline starts here, but I do think that this game could be one decided by coaching. And in that case, big advantage Kansas City. And I'll take the Chiefs to win based on that. And then we got the London game between the Vikings and the Browns. Minnesota, of course, playing as the road team in back-to-back international contests. They lost last week in Dublin to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they play the Cleveland Browns in London, with Cleveland making a quarterback change as they go to Dylan Gabriel. I do think that the Vikings defense wins in this game based on that. I don't think I necessarily say that I believe Gabriel is too ready. I think that the Vikings defense is going to have a great game, and I think Minnesota wins this one. Then it's the Cowboys and the Jets going at it in the Meadowlands. I'll take Dallas here. I do think that Dak Prescott is going to have himself another good game. Even with the limited receivers they have, since they still won't have CeeDee Lamb, I do think Dallas's offense is good enough that can lead them to a win over the Jets. Broncos and Eagles will go at it in Philly. Here I'll take the Eagles. I think that the Eagles will find a way to move the ball against this Denver defense, this tough Denver defense, and I can't really say the same the other way around. I'm not too certain that Denver is going to have all that much fun moving the ball against the Eagle defense. So yeah, I'll take Philly convincingly. Dolphins and Panthers going at it in Charlotte. Of course, the Dolphins now down a cheetah. Tyreek Hill done for the year after his gruesome injury last Monday night. That being said, I still think Miami should be able to move the ball at will against this Carolina defense. And I do think the Dolphins get the road win in Charlotte. Titans and Cardinals. This is my lock of the week, though it's probably one of the less confident locks of the week. I'll take the Cardinals. It's especially not as confident as most locks because of the injuries the Cardinals have seen to the running back position. They already were without James Conner. Now they lose Trey Benson. He goes on injured reserve. And the talent at running back is now suddenly limited for the Cardinals. That being said, I do think their defense should still do a number on that Titan offense. And Arizona's offense won't have to do much to win them this game. I think they do just enough to get that done. And yeah, I like the Cardinals. Commanders and Chargers. Both these teams with some question marks after last week. Granted, one of those question marks appears to be answered by, yes, Jalen Daniels should be able to play in this game. So then that leaves the question of, will the Chargers be able to move the ball now that they're without both of their starting offensive tackles? Thankfully for them, they're playing Washington, who is not necessarily the best defense in the league. And I do think that difference in defense makes for the difference in the game. So I'll take the Chargers on account of having that better defense. Then you have the Lions and the Bengals. This is a matchup that was looking a lot better before the season began. I mean, Joe Burrow under center for the Bengals taking on this Lions defense would have been pretty good. Instead, we're getting Jake Browning, and the Bengals offense has not really looked competent with Browning under center. I guess minus the Jacksonville game. And even then, it's more of an argument of how far do you push the definition of competent. Because Browning still threw 3 interceptions in that game. So yeah, I'm taking the more healthy team here. Give me the Lions to go into the jungle and take down the Bengals. Then we have the Thursday night game between the 49ers and the Rams. And based on what we've seen over the first few weeks, I did already think the Rams were the better team. And then you keep piling on injuries for the 49ers. No Brock Purdy. no Jawan Jennings, no 49ers victory. I'll take the Rams to win this Thursday night matchup. And that's the Giants and the Saints. Two of the weaker teams here in the NFC, if not the entire NFL. However, the Giants have that new life in them with the Jackson Dart move to quarterback. So I'm going to take New York to go into the Superdome and take down the Saints. I just feel like that offense, like I said, is rejuvenated with Jackson Dart under center. And I'm much more confident in that offense than I am in the Saints offense. So yeah, I'll take New York to win that one. And finally, Bucks and Seahawks. You know, by definition, it is my upset of the week. And that means I'm taking Tampa Bay to win. Now, why do I think Tampa Bay wins? I think that their defensive line will present a challenge that Seattle has seldom seen to this point. And I feel like that defensive line will make life difficult for Sam Darnold and company. Meanwhile, I do believe that the Buccaneers will be able to move the ball against the Seattle defense. Maybe it won't be the easiest thing in the world, but I do believe they can do it. And sure, it may take another last-minute come-from-behind drive for Baker Mayfield, but I think Tampa Bay should be able to go into Seattle and take down the Seahawks. Well, there you go. There's my picks for Week 5 of the NFL season. If you like this, please like and subscribe for more to come in the following weeks. I have been the Sports Wiz 101, and I will see you all later.